Hey, greetings and welcome to Cookie. And today we're going to be looking at methods, blocking, and sorting in Ruby. So once again, most importantly, thank you guys for watching, clicking on to watch on this video. Please like, share, and subscribe. Most importantly, reach out to me in the comment section as I'll paste the instructional in the video description. If you guys have any issues trying to work with these labs, let me know. I'll be happy to reach out as I assist you and you assist me. Our journey to get certified in Ruby, right? So it's just important not to learn computer science by yourself, but to get certified so that when it comes for the job interview, you could put all your knowledge into words. Let's get started. All right, so today we're going to be looking at some methods and blocks, right? So say for example, right, you want to repeat code, right? You want to provide welcomes, right? You want to provide greetings, several parts in your code. You're going to find that's going to be long and it's going to be a process to try to repeat yourself every time and again. Say greeting to this person, greet to that person. So what we have in Ruby is known as methods, and methods what is allowed to repeat large chunks of code without having to write them down each time we need them. So let's go ahead and create a method. Copy this code. Stop. And then run name it RB. Okay, right? And now let's say for example, right, we want to have greeting in several parts of the code, right? It puts greetings, and then set parameter, say first name, I'm gonna call you a doctor for now, right? Doctor. Put your first name is first name. Great. All right, and now say right, we have that code. So instead of like trying to write this out every time we need it, right? We can actually use this method instead, right? So let me try to create a bit of a code, right? We're just gonna say +2 +3, right? Well, I just decided to come together and put together, example for you, right? So say for you, so we have a little code, right? You have a child, his name is Tommy, and he's well, right? Then we, great, so we have a code, so we define our functions at the beginning, right? At the beginning of our code, always safe to define your functions before you actually use them. Right, so we have our code, right? So we have our child here, right? It's a little array that we have going here, right? I ask if Tommy is as well, right? And then we say welcome, right? So Tommy's going to be the doctor. Then we have our first function call, welcome pediatrician Smith. And then our prescription, right? It's just going to be a variable just to indicate that that how you want to hold data, right? How you want to use data types in order to avoid repetition instead of repeating strings yourself, right? And then you have a little conditional, a little control flow. Unless child at index 1 is sick, unless Tommy's feeling sick, or you can put doctors, you can go play. Else, right? Welcome cardiologist O'Connor, and then you put the prescription, right? So like so, right? So let me just go ahead and run the methods, right? So greetings, Dr. Smith, your profession's pediatrician. So you can see our function called here. We pass pediatrician, Smith, we get that in the function. Greetings, Dr. Smith, your profession's pediatrician. Doctor says you can go play. So let's change that out in order for it to call the function twice as in this program. Like I made in the state there, right? When you have an array of words, right, you don't need any quotes around them. That's okay. Well, all right, so let's run the code again. Right, so now greetings, Dr. Smith. Your profession is pediatrician. Right, I put double is always the ground is different when I'm on Ruby. Right, but however, we can see child at index 1 is equal to sick. Right, so then we call the function again. Greetings, Dr. O'Connor. Your profession is cardiologist, and then the doctor tells the child that they have to take 2 pills, right? So that's just an overview of why methods are important. We just wanted to get in depth there, but really that's what's going on here, how we get to avoid that repetition. As you can see, as this conversation continues further, right? We could say, and then we could use another conditional block, unless child 1 still feels sick, right? Then we introduce them to a neurologist. Just say Ashanti, Tia, and then you'd be greetings, Dr. Shanti, your profession neurologist, and you go from there, right? So and you can see in this repetition, right, you also want to put this whole code into a method, right? And provide more arguments. As code gets more complex, you see there's going to be more repetition. You want to be able to put more into a function, right? So that's it with methods. That's what I'm going to talk about with methods. Right. Also wanted, before one more thing, I just wanted to provide an example. Or say, for example, you don't know how many arguments a method needs. What we can have is, right, I'll just copy out this code. What we can have here is we place a star in front of try to copy this code. Right, we could place a star in front of the argument, right? And then all these items here would end up becoming an array. So this will be one array, and then we could loop through these. And the function can say hello to all of its friends, right? So I run it again, right? Now we get what up Ian, what up Zoe, what up Zenas, and what up Eleanor, right? And then we want to take a look at what we have for friends here, right? It basically took all these items and put them into an array. All right, take a look at that. Right. I always say puts, right? Puts always kind of try to iterate through them, but let me just do it friends. Right, and now we have an array like so. Right, so that is what we have for methods. Now, next thing I want to talk about is blocks, right? So blocks are like methods, but we've seen these a lot, right? You kind of just don't need them to exist. However, right, and throughout our video series, we've been using code blocks a lot, right? Code blocks are methods, right? But once we're done with them, they just cease to exist, right? So we say, for example, right, we have an array. We go ahead and copy this array right here. And we wanted to capitalize them in place. What we do is we use a code block. Now, code blocks can either appear with brackets, right? And then the arguments that the function that the method passes for the code block. Or we can use the do and the end block. I like using do and end blocks. I love using do and end blocks because I understand that my code is now in Ruby, right? So that's what I love. That's what we use here. And what we're going to do now is we're going to capitalize. Well, everything's capitalized, so I might as well upcase. We're going to uppercase, right? We're going to uppercase all the letters in for each word in the array. And we're going to print that, right? Because if you say put snap, it's going to actually print them one by one. So I'm going to print the names, and we're going to run it. Right? So now we can see everything is uppercase, right? And these are blocks, right? So basically blocks are really important because they actually extend what Ruby can do, what you can do in Ruby, right? Map is really just swooping through a way, but if you use a block, you can do more. You can start to modify. You can start to control Ruby at a granular level, and that's what you want to achieve when you're doing programming. You want to be able to make modifications in the tiniest spot. So you can see in X, right? You have access to see if you could do X dot each one more time. Let me see if this exists. I'm not too sure if this actually exists on this function, but right, yeah, it doesn't exist. Right, that's okay. But you're able to work with Ruby and its data types more closely when you're using blocks, right? That's the only important thing. And the final thing I just wanted to go over here was the comparison operator. So say for example, right, so in Ruby, there is, and in every programming language, there is the issue of sorting. Choose begin and end, right? You guys know. When I post this online, everyone knows how to work with these examples. Right, we might have a situation where we wouldn't know how to properly order things, right? We say, for example, we want to order the titles of these books, right? And we wouldn't know how to order them, right? What we can do is we use this comparison operator. So you can take a little look at it before we run some of these methods, right? Right, you could take War and Peace, and the second item is going to be War and Peace here, right? And what you can do is see which comes first, right? So basically, if we get an answer of 0, these two items are equal, right? If we get an answer of +1, if you get -1, that means this is sorted properly. Or if you just kind of switch these around, and if you get 1, that means, right, War and Peace should come after Charlie the Chocolate Factory. And say, if you replace this and these two happen to be equal, right, we get 0. And this is very useful when it comes to titles and it comes to objects, which should come first. Ruby has its own way of ordering everything, and to see how we can get that done, we can use the comparison operator. Very good later down while you're coding, right? And you really want order when you're dealing with your data types, right? You can use, thanks to the comparison operator, you don't have to sit there and figure out how you're going to order all of your data, right? So you're going to see this in functions, right? If you want to go ahead, let's ascending rate. Well, we're going to use the sort method, sort method with the exclamation, so it can sort in place, right? And what we want to do, right? We want to sort in descending order. We want to sort these books in descending order. So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna run this one more time. Get rid of this logic, but then we could see that the titles later in the alphabet, right, that start at Z, right, come first, and then we head all the way back down. And it's even smart. It's comparison operator is very smart. So we have two titles that start with the same letter, right? But it could go ahead, check the next letter, right? B comes earlier in the alphabet than W. So when this is being reversed, right, this would come first, and so on. Right? So that is what we have with sorting, right? In other words, if we didn't have this comparison operator, we have to use the if else statements, and then we have to go through each letter in the string, and that could get very tedious, right? You could just go ahead and say, right, we'd go ahead and enforce to say, we will make a first look, second look, an array, right? We would say first R equals dot split, right? And so on. And then second look, and then second AR equals second look dot split. And then we would have to do a lot of comparisons. We use a lot of comparisons just to figure out which should go where. This, and code gets lengthy, just like in JavaScript. This helps you sort any which way just by using the comparison, using the combined comparison operator. That's what it's called, I believe. Right. And we have an interesting name for it. This is known as the spaceship operator. Right. So I'll just leave that in the state combined, right? Combined comparison operator. I'll just write down spaceship operator later in the notes. That's what it's called. All right, so thank you for watching. So thank you for watching. Once again, please like, share, subscribe. Most importantly, any issues with the lab, I'm going to post in the video, the link description. Please reach out to me. Always want to help out, as you guys also help me as we both go on our journey to get certified with Ruby. Thanks for watching.